running?
Yes, you can vape throughout the show, smoking and joking. I try not to smoke. That's why I'm not smoking this one, obviously. It went out. But
gonna ride the lightning, feel the thunder, till the darkness pulls me under. I guess mama was right. 'Cause when the clock strikes midnight, gonna ride the lightning, feel the thunder, till the darkness pulls me under. I guess mama was right. 'Cause when the clock strikes midnight, gonna ride the lightning, feel the thunder, till the darkness pulls me under. I guess mama was right. 'Cause when
hey guys, welcome to the Smoking and Joking Show. My name is Beth, the Crown Eater's wife. I'm with my amazing husband and partner in crime, Jimmy King.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Smoke and Joking Show. Thank you. Welcome to episode 80. We're here with Wounded Heroes Hunting Camp, and we got Matt and Theresa with us. They basically run this organization, and it is absolutely amazing. They help 7 veterans and their families on basically adventure trips as far as that goes, fully funded, hunting, fishing, camping, and I'm sure more. That I'm TBI branding at the moment and not remembering, but Matt, Theresa, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us. It's a pleasure to be here.
So, give us a quick rundown on y'all's background as far as you're both prior service and whatnot. What led you to the military? What branch you're in? Would you serve? And then we can move on from there.
Sounds good. I will let my bride go first, since she entered the military first.
Oh, okay.
Oh, so Matt's the boot.
All 4'11" of her, by the way. A 4'11".
But yes, I am only 4'11". I was 4'11 and a quarter, but unfortunately, age has got me shrinking at this point in life. It's not fair. So I grew up in Pennsylvania. Life was hard. I'm a firm believer that a lot of people that go into the military come from a struggling background of some degree. They're going to escape it and have an opportunity to have a better life, some more independence. So graduated high school in 2000 and I went straight into the Army. And that was going to be my life plan. I was going to do 20 years in the Army, retire, and go do another 10 for the post office and have a double pension from the government. But life kind of throws wrenches into things. So in any case, after basic, I got to go to Camp Casey, Korea. I was attached with 2ID as a military police officer. That was a blast, time of my life, best year. Like I'm so fortunate that I got to spend my young 20s in Korea. And then I got sent back to the States to Fort Hood. And that's eventually where Matt and I met. I'll let him start his half here in a second. But when we first met, it's important to know that we did not get along. We actually really despised each other very badly. I outranked him. I was a very serious person. I was striving to get my E5. And him and his buddies were like the frat boys, the smoking and joking type, right? So.
Yep. So, I mean, I guess I'll kind of segue into my service. I joined in 2002, April 2002, shortly after 9/11. And I was going in on the buddy program, but by the time we got down to MEPS with my buddy Joe Kuntz, they had different plans for us. We were going to go 2 different routes because the slot that we picked for the buddy program was no longer available. And so I said, hey, what do you guys have for me? I need to leave today. I mean, I got rid of my girlfriend. I got rid of my house, or not my house. I didn't have a house. I didn't have a place to live. I needed to get into service, right? And so they said, well, do you want to be a military police officer? I said, sure, let's go. And I just went off. And I actually didn't see my buddy, Joe Kuntz, again after that until 9 years since we parted ways for the buddy program. He went on to be an infantry soldier. But anyway, I entered active duty. Went to Fort Leonard Wood for my basic training. Had a lot of fun there, which I mean, my upbringing in the Pacific Northwest and Washington State, I mean, I lived with a family that had an active duty ranger within it. So when I went to basic training in AIT, it was kind of a breeze for me. It was really just a fun time. You know what I mean? It was kind of like growing up in the Coons' house. So anyway, I went through training. I got assigned over to Fort Hood. I was actually supposed to go to Korea, but they redirected me to Fort Hood. And that's where I met Theresa for the first time. Funny story, when I came up to the military police company there was nobody around, you know, and I could hear everybody in the belly of the building, kind of like where the armory would be. And so I hear all these voices down there. And as I'm walking down the stairs, I could just hear this female's voice, like just ripping into people like left and right. You know what I mean? I can't see anybody, but I can hear. So I come around the corner and I see Theresa walking up and down like she's the warden, like in the hallway, just ripping on everybody, you know? And I was like, and so that's where the hate, I think, or the dislike immediately started for both of us. Because I came around the corner, she goes, "Who the hell are you?" I could see that she's a specialist at that time, or maybe PFC. I said, "Well, I'm Private Houston." And she's like, "Okay, Dallas." You know what I mean? I didn't get the joke at that time. So I just kind of like snubbed her in that moment. But
so here's the joke. And he finally just got this joke about a month ago. And we've been together for 25 years now. So the joke, by calling him Dallas, it's a dumb joke, right? Like, it's stupid, which is supposed to also equate to how dumb it is to have the name Houston.
That you now have.
Yeah, it's a dumb joke because it's a dumb name. Like, that's the whole point. You finally got it.
I mean, that is debatable. But yeah, so anyway, I got to sign a 64th MP company, and then I wasn't there too long after we were heading to Iraq, you know, for OIF-1. And so, you know, unique enough, like as being an MP, we serve multi-gender, you know what I mean? So we do have men and women that deploy together into the front lines, whatever you want to label it as. Wherever the infantry is going, the MPs are going along with them to support. I mean, our number one job is to support the infantry, and that's what we did in Iraq the entire time. But we're kind of based out of Samara, Iraq, and spent just about every day, you know, we're in the same squad. So, I mean, we lived together. We all slept in the same room or the same fob or on our cots and tents, whatever it may be. We just lived, breathed, and, you know, as a result, could have died together too. But so it was quite the experience for us, you know.
Well, and I think anybody who has been deployed over to the war zone, you come to find that your team, you know, your platoon, whatever you call it, amongst the different branches, when you're eating, breathing, and living together every second of every day, and you are turned on at every moment because at any moment, like, attacks are coming, bullets are flying. So this bond is created. It's a deep bond of loyalty, and it's a trauma bond. And the feelings that I have towards my veteran family is so different and unique than what the bond is with me and like my parents, my cousins, my aunt and uncles. Like, it's different, it's unique, and it's special. So even though we hated each other while we were there, I still would have killed somebody for him, you know? So it's a sick twistedness, right? Like,
Yeah.
Jamie, I think you can relate to that too.
I believe her.
Yeah, give me 1 second here. So want to say hi to Kristen Godwin, Theo Tor, Lance McElhaney, Jimmy A. James, and LaShonda Johnson. We see you guys out there. Thanks for joining us. For anybody who hasn't already done so, if you could please highlight in the comments, get the word spread out and get more people come watch the show, it'd be greatly appreciated.
So let's talk about like what happened when you were injured. Because I know that was a really hard thing for Theresa. Like I know that she was still over there and was there, and it was hard for her to know like your status and if you were okay or not.
Yeah, so the day that I got injured, so, you know, the way I want you guys to look at my military service and my unit, like, that was my family. I really didn't have much to lean back on after that. So when I got in active duty, that was just who I was. It was like in my inner fabric. Like, this is my unit. This is my squad. Nothing else really existed, you know? So that day that I got injured outside of Samara, I was hit by a 50 caliber machine gun through my left kneecap, which kind of like just ended, it gave me a very bad day, like very quick. But the way that I was kind of like medevaced and like extracted out of my family unit and then being vulnerable because I'm, now I'm like a singular person out there trying to like survive. And I'm not sure if I'm going to die, I'm going to live, or what's going on. I just know the injury is bad. During that whole time, all I could think of was like, I got to get back to my unit. I got to get back to my family. I feel vulnerable. I don't like this feeling. And I actually didn't see anybody until, probably 2 months, maybe about a month and a half, 2 months. I had some people that showed up for my unit to see me in the hospital, but I really don't remember that time. I was on, so many different medications to stay alive that it's kind of a blur. But yeah, that day that I got injured was very pivotal for both Theresa and I. She has her own wounds from it. I have my own wounds from it. And it was just a complete disconnect. It was like just cutting the umbilical cord. It's over. You're gone. You're somewhere else. So it was pretty vicious.
So
yeah, I'm sure Jimmy can relate as far as that goes. I know when he woke up, and even before he was actually put in the medical induced coma, he was fighting to stay. And I think you even punched somebody out, Jimmy, a doctor trying to stay.
Yeah, I don't remember. I don't physically remember any of it as far as it goes. I went in shock immediately, but I didn't pass out. And the story that I've been told was the entire time the corpsman was working on me, broke like 6 tourniquets trying to get a tourniquet on my leg before using a cravat stick. They got me back to the combat outpost. The MO started working on me, wouldn't give me morphine because he didn't want to drop my heart rate because I'd lost so much blood. And the entire time I just was like rolling my head back and forth, looking at everybody like, what the just happened? And didn't make a sound, didn't say a word until the medical officer called a couple corpsmen over to strap me to the gurney for the medevac. And he actually used the word medevac, and I guess I slugged him and punched and kicked 4 or 5 other corpsmen. Tried to headbutt and bite my company gunny when he came bursting through the door, and he yelled at ease, and and just went limp. Didn't pass out, just obeyed orders. They carried me onto the bird, sat me in a seat. When the crew chief tried to say that I needed to be strapped down, they was like, shut up, just let him be. And they medically induced me in Baghdad. And 3.5 weeks later, I woke up in Bethesda after they had amputated my leg due to an infection. And the first 3 questions I asked was, what happened? Who else got hurt? And when are you sending me back?
Yeah, I mean, it's really all you can think
And
about.
they didn't want to tell me who else got hurt. They couldn't tell me a whole lot about what happened. And when I said, when are you sending me back? They said, we can't. I said, why? They said, you lost your leg. I was like, you don't think I won't wheel myself around in a wheelchair and shoot at people?
Right.
I got 28 other Marines I'm in charge of. You need to send me back to them. I remember saying it conversationally. To hear my mom tell it the first time, I guess I was yelling at the doctors trying to get out of bed, and they backed out saying, we'll see what we can do. And I know what that meant.
Sounds like the same thing between you two.
Yeah, and I had a huge hoarding disorder when I was at BAMC too, because coming from Iraq, we were living off of 1 MRE, 1 bottle of water. And so when they started bringing me 2 Gatorades for every meal, like once I was coherent, I'm like, bring me 4, bring me 8. And by the time Theresa came back from Iraq in like March of 04, I had a whole closet full of it. You know what I mean? I'm like, all right, I got 1,000 Gatorades we're taking with us, And
200 packets.
Yeah, it was insane. But one of the most surreal moments for me is like I was on a lot of morphine, and I'm gonna let Theresa get to her portion of it in a second. But while I was laying there in my bed, they had like 2 movies on. One was Holes with like Shia LaBeouf that I watched like 1,000,000 times. You know what I mean? Like Morphine TV was awesome. Like in 03, sitting there in a bed, like that portion of it was great. But they only gave me 2 shows, and then the other one was like CNN. You know what I mean? And they weren't like really giving us great information from the battlefield. So I'm sitting there in bed one day, and there's a Humvee on TV, and it says, U.S. soldiers got attacked in Samara, Iraq, and I'm like, oh my God, okay. I'm like, I'm paying attention now, you know what I mean? So I look at the front of the Humvee, I can see that it's a 64th MP company Humvee, and I'm like, holy shit, that's my company's Humvee. It's got to be my unit in Samara. We're the only MPs there. Next thing you know, I see Theresa and them on TV. Like they just went through Bloody Sunday, like on November 29th or November 30th, and they got like ambushed in Samara. This was like a week and a half after I got, medevac. But it was like this moment in time where I'm like, oh my God, I'm watching my unit's battle unfold in front of me on TV. I'm back in the U.S. sitting in a hospital bed. It was just a big moment for me in time.
I can imagine.
All right, give me just a second to pay the bills here. We'll do a couple quick commercials. I'll read a few comments, and then we'll get into what you guys have been doing since the injury and retirement and all that. So, for commercials, if you're looking to start your own business, improve your business, start your own organization, or sell your services to the government, reach out to Artias at YESRTS.com. These guys, they're great. They'll walk you through everything. They do it in a military manner as far as, bringing it down Barney style and keeping it simple. They're helping us with our org. They've walked us through the entire application process, build the website, everything. So for all your business needs, it's YESRTS.com. Sorry, brain fart. For service disabled veterans, you can get all the same services free of charge at VETS365. That's VETS365.org. For all your health and fitness needs, reach out to Anthony Chapontier at amcjfitness@gmail.com. He's one of the original hosts of Smoking and Joking. Former Marine. He's actually on a book tour at the moment. He's got a new book out. Or coming out. And he can help you get your diet right, get your fitness right. That's amcjfitness@gmail.com. For all your beauty needs, makeup, hair, nails, whatever, as far as it goes, reach out to our girl Rafi Khan over at on TikTok shops at Dare Beauty Essentials, and she will get you hooked up right.
I still need Ruffian's help on getting Jimmy's look all together. Anyways, so
can't quite match the skin tone yet, but we're getting there.
I did want to get back to real quick before we start talking about the org and all you guys do. I did want to get back to Teresa's side of the story real quick. I didn't want to skip over that because I know that that's a big deal and that's a big part of y'all's, the beginning of your journey, really.
It really was. So just to set the stage, our unit was actually deployed to Kuwait before the war even ever kicked off. We were actually crossing the border into Iraq when Bush had announced that they had 48 hours to essentially turn themselves over. So we were there day one, we didn't have resources. There was nothing established. We didn't have showers for months. It was nothing to be mortared attacked, RPGs, bullets flying at you every single day. So it really gets to the point where you start getting shot at, and it's no different than seeing a bird fly past you. It's just like, man, that was a bullet. Oh well, it missed. Lucky me. So the whole reason I'm saying this is it leads up to the day that Matt was injured, and he was on the QRF team that day. And of course, the shot rang out, and it's a loud bang, right? And I remember just looking around the corner and seeing him lay there. It was the absolute worst moment of my life. So, and the reason why is because just a month before that, remember, Matt and I hated each other. We did not get along. Part of our platoon Sergeant Gardner, one of my favorite NCOs ever. Hopefully he will see this one day and know that he left an impression on us. But he decided that Matthew and I needed to be punished and put on special duties together to figure out our differences and to learn to work together.
Y'all figured it out.
Yeah, so we figured it out, and we're like, oh, actually, we're kind of similar, and we actually do like each other, and we get each other. So at that point, feelings were already being established and stuff. And like I had mentioned before, you already have this deep connection with the people that you know, you're fighting right alongside. So the day that he was injured, you know, here I am. I finally got over my attitude towards this guy, and I'm starting to have these deeper feelings. And now, like he said, he's just gone now. And again, beginning of the war, no communications. We were lucky if we got a sat phone for 2 minutes once a month, right? So I played hell for about a month and a half trying to find out if he was even alive. Like, it was that bad. I assume like this probably took him out. It probably killed him, but I wasn't putting all my eggs in that basket yet. So we finally got information from one of the medical units came up the chain that he had been sent to Longstall. Well, by the time I got that information, he was already coming back to the States. Back up a little bit too, the day he was shot. This is the other thing that's really messed up that a lot of people don't think about. When something like that happens, you know, we all have to move on with our lives and we have to keep fighting the war, right? Guess what? We can't use that vehicle with all the debris from his accident in there. So I was part of the team that got to go in there and clean the blood and the meat and the bone from his accident out of that vehicle. It was me and his two other teammates because we were in the same squad. So, yeah, here I am. Like, I mean, talk about some serious trauma.
That's trauma. That's some
It's-
traumatizing shit.
It's
No,
awful.
That's just scraping the surface.
Right.
But,
We're really
there's a
scraping
lot
the
in between.
surface.
We could talk for 10 hours about all
Right.
that stuff for sure.
So, yeah, needless to say, it goes a whole lot deeper and there's a whole lot more trauma that comes from it, but we won't go into that today. But it was the worst time of our lives. It definitely trauma bonded us. He's my best friend today. I love to hate him still. Like, I love to see when he's kind of suffering a little bit. Like, if he stubs his toe, like, that brings me pleasure, right?
I get you. I feel you. I've been married for 20 years to this
Right.
man. I kind of feel you on that.
Right. But at the same time, nobody else better come up and kick him in the shin because I'm going to go into attack mode, you know?
Right.
So he is my biggest trigger as a result of the injury. I don't like it when people disrespect him or mess with him or cause him any kind of discomfort. You know, I unfortunately go into attack mode. So years and years and years and years and years of therapy weekly, I have finally gotten to the point where I can sit here and talk to you guys about it today without bursting into tears and being an absolute wreck. We've come a long way, but
We sure have.
between us both sharing that one same trauma, it really made for a messy life when we were first out. You know, like, we knew that something was wrong, but the VA wasn't there yet, and they were telling us nothing was wrong with us, that we're fine, go back out in civilian land, go back and adapt. And we were pretty jacked up, and of course we were substance abusing to numb the issues that we were having, the PTSD from it, the stress. You know, it was a rough time.
Yeah, the acknowledgement of PTSD as well as like mental health was not being addressed back then for sure.
I mean, you're in your 20s, you know?
And you're in your 20s, right? So I mean it definitely does set the stage for, you know, a long recovery. Not
Yeah.
because I know with me and Jimmy, before I received any help, it was like you started attacking that person, or it was almost like it was a back and forth between us.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
And you know, something else that I realized, Beth, because, you know, we've known each other for a couple of years, and I feel like our relationships are very similar. We're very similar personalities and stuff. And I realized earlier, and I think that you guys would agree, that when you both have this trauma and you're both having a bad day, you mirror that PTSD and that anxiety, and it just keeps bouncing back and forth. And it has potential to get so ugly and big and it's really tough, especially when there's two of you with trauma trying to make things work and trying to raise kids too. Like that's a whole
Yeah,
other level of jacked up, you know?
for sure. I know I can't compare any of my, and I sometimes hate even saying I have PTSD, because when you think of PTSD, you do think of military, you do think of veterans, you that is the one place people go, but there's so much trauma that happens in our early life that, if we don't address it, it is can be an ugly cycle. And when you have somebody who's disabled, and you guys know how it is, y'all are together 24/7. Like, you work together, you live together, you're raising kids together, and most couples get breaks. They go off to work for 8 hours and don't have to deal with it. But when you have to see somebody, you know, I think for like our husbands, they don't always know how to respond to us. So it only creates for even a more contentious between the two of you. You're not listening to me, you're not understanding me, or you minimize what I'm going through, because I have the mental health. I don't have the physical. Well, I have some disabilities, but that's all toddler related. 2-year-olds are dangerous, ladies and gentlemen. 2-year-olds are dangerous.
Yes.
But I don't have those injuries, and like I know that we haven't touched on it, but Matt, you're an amputee, so being a proud, strong military man and not being able to do everything can be so frustrating for you guys. And all us as wives want to do is help you and fix you, but we can't. And I
Yeah.
love that you guys have worked together and grown, and it's just amazing to see another couple who really cares about not only each other but their veteran community and spends their time giving back to their community.
Yeah, 100%. No, Teresa is she's my family. I love the heck out of her, and she was a teammate first, and she's still a teammate today. Like, I wouldn't trade her for anybody. Like, I don't feel like there's anybody out there that is going to come to my rescue the way that my wife would. You know what I mean? Like, she will move mountains to get to me, and that's what I need, right? And that's actually like some of the biggest, like, I had developed anxiety attacks like 7 years ago, like out of the blue, and it like freaked me out and like threw me into a whirlwind, like kind of wrecked my life there for a while. But I realized that, Teresa was my one constant that was there for me all the time. But, with the mental health like that, when it's that like apparent and that strong, like I was just drowning her because she was going on her own thing, you know what I mean, doing her own anxiety, her own PTSD symptoms. So yeah, it's a juggling act for sure. That I've learned that as long as I can drop my ego in some of the arguments we have, it typically will smooth over faster. But we've learned to show each other a lot of grace. That's for sure.
And that's what I do love about you guys. You do have like honest conversations with each other. Like, you don't sugarcoat it. That's definitely not y'all's brand. But you can tell the love between you guys. I know with us struggling between, physical injuries and mental health issues, I've struggled with mental health issues. Not only do I have PTSD and anxiety, but I'm also bipolar. So that has been, with Jimmy not dealing with something like that before, it has been something he's really had to work on to be able to understand me. And it's taken a long journey for us to get where we are. Like, there was a time in our marriage, I think all of us hope for, that when you look at your spouse, you say, I love you more today than the day I married you. And one time Jimmy looked at me and goes, I don't know if I do. I don't know if I do. And he was valid. I'm not even going to say he wasn't valid, but he was valid. But today we can sit back and say, I love you more now than the day I married you. We've been through a lot of trials and tribulations. And like you said, Matt, she's going to be there and be your ride and die and sit back and always have your back. Like, I'm the same way with Jimmy, like Theresa was saying. You disrespect my husband, I go for the jugular. Almost just as much, if not more, for him.
We don't
than
have
I
to
do
fight
my
fights
kid.
anymore. Like, our women will fight for us. It's the amazing thing, you know. Like, I do feel like it's like I'm running around with a chihuahua that just wants to kill everything that is like looking at me wrong. You know, and I'm like, holy shit! I'm sitting in the car, like, get back in here.
Where's my popcorn?
I've calmed down a lot, okay? Again, lots and lots and lots of therapy.
Yeah, but
All right, so real quick, we've had quite a few comments here as far as it goes. Kristen Godwin said, we love you guys too. Bernie Altman said, proud to be part of WHHC. It keeps moving on me. Hold on. Where'd it go? Heather Hooters Girl said, thank you for your service. Tisha said, hi. Hi, Tisha.
Hi, Tisha.
Going back to the meds comment there, Theresa, Theo said that all you need is Motrin and water.
that's it.
Yeah. Good story.
They still peddle that today.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Kristen Godwin said, I think it's safe to say that there are a lot of people on here who won't let anything happen to you and Matt. Lance McElhaney said you wouldn't trade her for another person. But what about a loaf of bread?
Who said that?
Hey, if it's jalapeno cheddar or
Yes.
sourdough,
I'm the one making it, though. How are
Yeah.
you going to trade?
Oh yeah, you're having a little thing with bread right now, aren't you?
oh my gosh.
So, okay, part of my mental illness, right? Because just like you said, I have things from before. I have ADHD. I suffer with really bad depression, anxiety and stuff. So I also tend to hyperfixate. Like, I will hyperfixate, and I'm also an 80%er. So I like to get things to 80% and then just walk away and quit it. I hate it about myself, but I can admit that I'm that person.
It looks like Lance replied to his own comment saying that was an answer on Family Feud one time.
Oh.
Yeah. So,
Kristen said she'll fight anyone for her veteran. Patrick LeBlanc said, finally got one who would fight for me. It's a damn good feeling.
Heck yeah. Well, hello,
Yeah.
Kristen, and everybody else on there too. Kristen and her husband Ed we just put them on a turkey hunt. Actually, they're going to the Belinda's place, Jimmy.
Oh, outstanding.
They're going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're gonna love that.
Yeah.
That
I'm
is
waiting.
that
I
is
want
an
to go
amazing
on
trip.
one of those hog trips.
One of the what, Beth?
Hog trips.
Well,
Okay.
Get down here.
I would love to be able to see you guys again. I miss you guys so
Yeah,
much.
I know.
The hog hunt, and I can't lie. One of the pictures that we're going to show here in a little bit, the gator hunt.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Well, that's taking place in September. So if you would like to come down and do that, we would open our doors for you as well.
Yes.
Can I
Outstanding.
come?
Yeah.
Yes.
100%. Yeah, we're gonna be staying in New Orleans, so we'll stay down in the French Quarters for a couple days and do the alligator hunt. But it is a fantastic time, and I don't know. I went last year for my first time ever, with the heroes and with a good buddy of mine, Terry Bland. He invited me on it, and it was phenomenal. You know what I mean? We got to see a nutrius. We got to see we didn't see the 10 or 11 foot alligator, but it was a phenomenal hunt and experience.
So,
All right. Well, now that we're talking about it a little bit, let's take next 10, 15 minutes and let's tell everybody about WHHC and the things you guys are doing.
I wanted
this
to
week
do a
being
quick.
National Volunteer Week. I definitely am so glad to have you guys on, not only as a couple working together and giving back to the veteran community, but I definitely want to talk about like the beginning of WHHC and where we are today. If I know that's a long one story too.
Yes. I wanted to make a quick point, Beth. You made the comment about, hey, can I come too? WHHC is a firm believer that when there's a veteran in a home and in your family unit, the entire family is feeling the effects of that PTSD. So we want to heal the family as a unit. So, I mean, you guys know you've been out fishing with us before.
Yeah.
We want the kids to come out too. We want everybody to come out and experience that healing. So, if it is an adventure that we can make it happen where the families can attend, we really try our best to, make sure that that's taken place.
And that's the one thing that is great about your org is I do know you take the whole family or spouses. You kind of cater different ones to different trips, or it's sometimes just a veteran. It just kind of depends on where and what it is. But you do the whole family, because I know that we've had our own personal conversations about how PTSD affects our kids, and it's
Yes.
PTSD by proxy. Like, I
Yes.
see my kid who's never been spanked, who will shudder if you raise your voice.
Yes.
And people don't really see that. But I also think it's wonderful to have the whole family, because those children can explain, can relate to each other in a way that maybe another kid down the street doesn't understand, and doesn't have to explain their mom or dad's injuries, doesn't have to explain why mom and dad are not able to come out and do things right now, because they're going through something right now. And I think that's a wonderful thing. And it also shows that no matter what your injuries are, you can do anything if you put your mind to it. That it's only limited by your own limitations that you put on yourself, not that you can't do these things.
Exactly.
100%. Yep.
So, Matt, you were, from what we had talked about on the phone and you've told us in the past, you were one of the forerunners, one of the first recipients of a hunting trip yourself, and then started working with WHHC, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
And before I forget, for anybody that's wanting to check out more about WHHC, the QR code is up in the corner right here somewhere.
Right at your finger.
And you can scan it. It'll take you to the website. You can look at plenty of different stories as far as that goes and stuff that they offer. Matt, Theresa, if you guys want to take a few minutes and kind of just give a rundown of what all you guys offer, like what different types of trips, what different type of hunts. Like I know like you said, we went down when we were in Texas. We came out and stayed with you guys. We got to stay in a yurt. That was freaking awesome. And we did a couple fishing trips with you, both daytime and nighttime fishing. Caught a lot of fish. So tell them about that, and we'll have our wonderful Wizard of Oz behind the scenes here. Throw some pictures up of some of the different hunts and stuff that you guys showed.
Yeah, absolutely. So I don't want to confuse anybody here, but I am the director of Wounded Heroes Hunting Camps, an all volunteer 501c3 nonprofit. We are legitimate. We are filed. That's one thing that we kind of strive is to be legitimate and to have integrity in all things in the organization. And so even though that I am, sort of sitting at the helm of the organization, it was founded by an active duty Marine, Jeremy Harbaugh, back in 2011, 2012 timeframe, and his cousin, Zachary Bauer. They saw kind of, the injured men and women coming back from war, and that they needed family and they needed hope and they needed a place to do these things. And so somehow Jeremy got a hold of me through some different channels, invited me up to a hunt, actually at the TB Wilderness Lodge with Tommy and Belinda. And that's where I got introduced to them. So yes, I was there with Josh Caskey. Josh Caskey was a wounded Marine, or is a wounded Marine, and his brother was killed in action, which made him a Gold Star member. And so we were the first two at the Belinda's house for that hunt. Connected with the family. I got to meet Jeremy. I got to see the mission and hear about it. And I was like, dude, this is awesome. Like, this is going to connect me back with my military family. Like, right now I have, and I'm not complaining, but I have my wife and I have my newborn child, you know what I mean? And we're just kind of like lost. I need that military connection. This kind of gave it to me. And I actually brought my daughter Cheyenne at that time on that hunt with us. She was 4, so she got to be a part of it, to meet the Belinda family too. And so I was working for the Pittsburgh Steelers at the time, but I still had some time on the outside, or extra time to go do hunting and fishing. So I said, hey, next year, how about I be your full-time volunteer? I'll run the hunts for you, because he was still active duty. So next year, I think we did 3 hunts and maybe served 6 heroes. Fast forward today, we're averaging about 30 events a year, and serving a little over 120 heroes per year. That doesn't seem like a whole lot to, you know, most people. That's 120 heroes to all expense paid outdoor vacations. So if we're flying them somewhere, Jimmy can contest to this. Like if you're flying somewhere, we're buying your ticket. If you're driving somewhere, we're paying for your fuel to and from. Like we do not want the finances to be the barrier between you and healing with us in the outdoors. Another key point about Wounded Heroes Hunting Camp too is that most of the volunteers that we have, I think we have 22 total volunteers, 16 active board members, but most of them are heroes that have come through our program that saw the mission like I did back then, that wanted to give back to their brothers and sisters and join the ranks and are full-time volunteers. So that's kind of how WHHC started, you know, in its infancy. And then fast forward today, like we're still a very small organization. We do not spend a dime on anything other than serving heroes. 98% of our money goes back to the mission. We don't pay for marketing. We hire outfitters here and there. We've connected with some of the outfitters down here that give us discounts for hunting and fishing trips, but we really try to pinch every single penny. And that's something that Jeremy Harbaugh has always, preached to the team is we are good stewards of the donor money that's coming in. We're very appreciative of it. We know the impact that it's making on the veteran community that we serve. We need to be good stewards and respect that money and pinch every single penny that we can. We're not having big lavish dinners. We're not eating soft shell blue crab when we go out. We will have nice dinners, right? We will have a lot of camp meals. We will have meals over fire. We do a lot of Dutch oven.
I never complained. All the meals were amazing.
Yes. So we will, we'll keep it kind of like an outfitter style camp, you know, if we can. And it's just this big, beautiful thing. And there's just so many heroes that we've met and come through the program. It'd be hard to like name them all, but every single one of them has become family for us. And that's what WHHC is for me anyway, that it's family. And just like Jeremy Harbaugh tells, the soldiers, Marines, and Airmen within our organization, like this isn't nobody's organization. It's all of our organization. So if you have something to offer, if you want to give your time, if you want to join our ranks and be part of the family, like please come, bring your ideas. Like we will hear them, we will implement them. And if there's, a populace out there within the veteran, first responder, or law enforcement community that can benefit from it, we're going to do everything we can to provide that for them.
And that was something you just mentioned. I didn't know this, but you said law enforcement and first responder. So you also serve that community too, which I think
we did. So we just started that last year. We had a board meeting about it. I pitched the idea. Everybody got behind it. They were like, yes, absolutely. We love it. We just got to figure out how to find the ones that had, conflict during duty, injured in the line of duty, which now we've befriended a couple law enforcement officers. And what's that?
Jimmy.
Oh, yeah, there's Jimmy.
Your eyes are bugged out, Matt.
Dude, I don't know why I take pictures like that, but at nighttime it just happens. That's our action track chair there. So we have a couple action track chairs. Those are for our amputees or anybody that, struggles to ambulate in the forest or wilderness, wherever we may be. They are beautiful machines.
Pretty fun.
Yes, they are.
They're super cool.
Jimmy just got one, so he's really excited.
Yes.
Yeah, there's Jimmy. That's at TV Wilderness Lodge with the Belinda family. That property it really is God's country, Yeah,
it is.
And their dog is humongous.
Yeah, they go through them too. And so the first time I went down with Tommy and Wendy down at the river, they had their Newfoundlands with them in the back of the UTV, and he threw a rock out in the middle of the river, and the dog jumped off, went out there and dove down and like swimming. I was like, holy cow, that dog can swim. And he informed me like back in the day, the Navy used to use them for rescue swimmers. So if you ever get to see a Newfoundland swim, it is like the most gracious thing you've ever seen. It's like watching a Navy SEAL swim.
Wow, I did not know that. See, you learn something new every day.
So yes, that's the alligator hunt.
You also don't not only give back to the veteran community and first responders now that you're serving, but I know you have a boat, and Houston, by the way, if nobody knew, Houston lives near Houston.
We're royalty.
Once you had some floods not too long ago, you actually went out and started helping the community. And I think you took your son out there with you.
Which one's she talking
No. What happened was the floods came in, and we had put our names into the list for potential responders. So
like evac stuff.
Yes,
right.
if evacs. So we had volunteered. We stepped up to do it. Fortunately enough, though, people really minded what the news was saying, and we didn't have any incidences, so we ended up not having to go out.
Okay, I thought you had, so I was just, but I mean, still, you serve your community. It's not
100%.
like you guys are
Yep.
really all, and that's one thing I do love about WHHC is it is a family. A lot of
Yes.
orgs will throw those words out like family. I got your six, but you guys really live and breathe by that code. It's not just a slogan for you guys. It's not just something that people get tattooed on their arms. It is your lifestyle.
Yes, my currency is a connection with those that have also served, and honorably. That's my currency. What I get out of the organization, just connecting with them, showing them, kind of like just being not really a mentor. I don't want to be anybody's mentor. I just want to be a buddy, somebody that you can call, and lean on. But I can equally lean on them, like when I need them. Like we have built a community, and just like Kristen was saying in the comments, like there are a lot of people that have our backs now and that we've touched and we've done some great things for. So I'm appreciative of that.
Yes.
Speaking of comments, let me get a few of those out of the way. I'll also do the commercials real quick, and none at a time. At that point, we'll transition into our bad advice column.
And if everybody could like, subscribe, and share, that would be amazing. I can already tell we're having you back for a second show because we haven't even like scratched the surface, and I think there's so many ways we could go deeper into this conversation. But go ahead, Jimmy. I'll let you.
So Ed Godwin said he can't wait for Pennsylvania. Jacob Sokowski, sorry if I butchered that. Matt and Theresa have been an inspiration since I've met them many years ago. Hello from the old Pennsylvania friends. Ed Godwin and Houston's go out of the way to help out. Patrick Bonks playing. It keeps moving on me. Something about sell tickets. Will Hughes. The Houstons are great people. I'm glad I've had the opportunity to meet them. Kristen Godwin said WHHC goes above and beyond for all their heroes and families. Matt and Theresa would give you the shirt off their back, even when they have life happen to them. They still do for others, even if they're not doing well. Josh Dixon said Semper Fi. Will Hughes said that's awesome. I'm assuming talking about all the trips and the hunting and everything as far as that goes. Josh
wants to
Dixon,
know
how do you become volunteers?
He said, how can he volunteer?
Yeah. He said, how do we become volunteers?
So they can get a hold of me on Facebook if they would like to, or they can go to WHHC. That's such a tongue twister. It really is, like WHHC.org. Okay. And then you can select there's a contact us now on that page. And that message will come directly to me and a couple of the other admin, for WHHC. So
they can also click on or scan the QR code and reach you through the website too, correct?
That's
that is
right.
correct. Yep.
And that's why you also apply for hunting trips as well.
Yes. And actually, I do have one little request there too. So anybody taking a look at WHHC, I know we talked about our boat. Right now we have a 21-foot center console boat that serves, I think we put 48 heroes on it this last year, and they had a phenomenal time with their family. Got plenty more scheduled. But I had a double and a triple amputee on there for a fishing tournament last, I'm not sure exactly when it was, October. And we found out the boat just isn't adequate enough for that. So we are in the market for a boat. We have done some fundraising, and we are looking for a boat manufacturer to connect with us to allow us to customize this boat to serve heroes and their families more effectively, safely, and comfortably. So if you know anybody like that, send them my way.
And I guess that's one of the things that is not great about you being an amputee, but it works, it doesn't work. There's a lot of organizations that you'll go to events or you'll go on one of their trips and they forget to do this or forget to do that. And you guys make sure you think of everything and you have the experience to know what's needed and who needs what.
I think it really comes down to attention to detail, and actually caring about the mission. And you know, I brag on us all the time. Like, I am so proud of the fact that we have so many volunteers that don't accept a single penny to work for us, and they are putting in 40 hours a week, sometimes more, and they're dedicating themselves to this mission because they believe that it's important. Like, we are trying to save lives, and it matters to us. So we're also out there, we're being aware. You know, we're all humans, we're also not perfect, so sometimes we do make mistakes, but we're also open to learning and being better. So we really want to be better for our veteran community out there and save them.
All right, so here's the bad advice. It says, the question is, I'm going on a hunting trip for the first time, but I want to give the animal a fair chance. What do you suggest?
Oh, taking one of those marshmallow guns.
I'd give the bear the marshmallow gun. I'd take a 300 Win
Wait,
mag.
what are we hunting? That matters.
Yeah, Theo, that matters.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Alligators.
you brought it up. Let's just say or here, we'll say it's a hog hunt. What's your bad advice for a first time hog hunter? Bad advice only.
My bad advice would be sit as close as you could to the feeder and cover yourself in corn. You will have an encounter. I guarantee it.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I mean, but
I would rub sausage grease on me before I went out. You know, make sure I give out those pheromones.
my thoughts would be, you know, especially since, you know, WHHC tends to cater towards, you know, the veteran community and stuff. You've been trained, right? So if you're going to give the boar a fair chance, you got to go out butt naked and only hunt with a 1-foot stick.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
It's going to take a special individual.
Yeah. Man.
Lance McElhaney said, slather yourself in honey.
Yeah.
There you go.
That'll get you a pig.
Bernie Altman said, shot placement, make the shot right.
Oh,
Theo
yeah.
said, everything is better butt naked.
And Lance said, go naked.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's our second one. It says, my spouse and I are in the same unit with the same rank. We are both going up on, what is that, Jimmy?
1 second.
This is what happens when you're not military.
In the same unit with the same rank. We are both going up on a meritorious board. Only one can get promoted. What should I do?
I think the woman should have it. Because we tend to be smarter, more put together, more rational. I know people think that we're emotional creatures, but we can be rational. And men come up with bad ideas. Like, I've seen it firsthand. I've seen these bad ideas happen, you know, doing wheelies with one leg and a 4-year-old on a quad.
They're only bad if they don't work. If they work, they're a genius. Right.
So my thought is tie your spouse naked to the bed and go for the board yourself. Your spouse will understand.
Yeah. Yep. I just wouldn't approach the board. I'd let her go. I mean, I want to stay a private. That was my main mission. Just stay a private. I mean, that is where it's at.
And if you think about it, I think it's a little bit of a sick, twisted mentality for him. Like, he wants to be treated like the bad private.
Is that Kiwi thing?
He's like,
and then there's always the answer from the previous question. You can always walk into the meritorious board
naked.
Butt naked, yes.
Yeah.
Board butt naked.
I think that's an answer to a lot of things. Just Be butt naked.
Actually, walk in on their board butt naked.
Yeah. I'm a firm believer that we should go back to it. I'm a big time supporter.
Next hunting trip.
Yeah. Why do you have poison ivy everywhere?
What were the old T-shirts back in the 90s? Big Johnson butt naked something or other.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
Big John, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it was back in No Fear and Just Do It and
Yeah.
Big Johnson. Wow.
All right, so hypothetical hijinks. We'll go back to the same boar hunt. You're out there hunting and you're sitting maybe a little bit closer than you should. Boar lines up. You get ready to take a shot. And you realize you never actually loaded your gun. What do? This is your hypothetical hijink, so this is your good
This
advice.
is where you redeem yourself and give good advice.
I would get as big as I could extremely fast. I would not try to be a hero. I'm not going to try to grab the thing. We're not going to have a fist fight in the middle of the night because remember, it's dark. And we've actually had this scenario. We were out thermal hunting with some vets. I actually wasn't with this group, but it happened too. And someone might be watching this show where we shot the main pig that we were after, and the younger ones ran right up to them, and they looked down because something was rubbing on their leg, and there's two pigs standing right next to them, hiding against them like they're a tree. So they just stood as still as they could, didn't make a noise, and eventually they ran off.
I know how we talked about jumping to our husband's defense, but I would just push Jimmy down and take off.
Now, looking at the comments, going back to the previous bad advice question about the dual meritorious board. Bad advice was get people deciding the promotion. So get your promotion board people drunk the night before. Put them in bed with a picture of a Siamese blow-up doll. Blackmail them with pics so you both get promoted. Yeah, I would say that's.
I like it.
That's
Told you he is good at this stuff.
Okay, so I'm seeing breaking and entering in the middle of the night, trying not to be murdered because you're in somebody's house, getting them drunk and doing things to them.
Did they say Siamese twins or conjoined?
Siamese.
Okay.
Wow. I don't know who.
Yeah, well, I mean, like I said, the goal of the bad advice is to give the worst advice possible. So
right.
Oh.
Yeah, that would.
It's concerning to me though that somebody thought that.
That's Theo for you.
Oh, Theo.
He's very concerning.
Like I said, we can come up with some bad advice.
I told you he's good at it.
Right.
Jeff said the female will get promoted if she starts every answer with "a man once told me."
Oh.
Oh God. But
We're not always right, but we're never wrong.
Right.
he's not wrong.
All right. Well, looking at the time, we're running down here. I'm going to have to give the last bit of commercials and whatnot.
You haven't
Once
plugged
we,
us
once we
once.
go
I
off
just
air,
wanted
stick
to
around.
do that.
We'll do a little after actions with Theo and everything as far as that goes. You guys are definitely going to have to come back and do another show so we get a little bit more in depth on WHHC. And I mean, there's a lot that we didn't cover that we kind of talked about on the phone, but unfortunately we only get an hour. So stick around. For all of you out there, one, thank you for watching. We love you all. And as far as paying the bills, if you're looking to sell your services to the government, start your own business, improve your business, or start your own organization, reach out to Artias at yesrts.com. These guys will walk you through everything step by step, and they keep it simple. And they know their shit. They're helping us with our organization. They've walked us through every step of the 501c application. They've helped us build our website. They are outstanding. If you're a service state disabled veteran and looking to do the same thing, reach out to them through vets365.org. It's their nonprofit. You can get all the same stuff, but it's free to service disabled veterans. If you're looking to get your health and fitness right, improve your diet, improve your fitness through workout routines, whatever the case may be, reach out to Anthony Chapontier at amcjfitness@gmail.org or .com. My bad. He's currently out on a book tour. He's got his own book. He's our fitness guru. He'll get you feeling right. For all your beauty needs, reach out to Ralphie and Khan over on TikTok Shop. Dare Beauty Essentials, hair, makeup, nails. That they'll do it all. And if you like our brand of humor as far as it goes, look us up on Crown Angel's Wife 1775 on Facebook. And we've got some merch over on cew1775.org. Check us out. QR codes
That way.
We got sweatshirts, t-shirts, ball caps, trucker hats, and a few other products. We do have one or two more designs coming here shortly. Once again, that's Crown Angel's Wife 1775 on Facebook or cew1775.org. Click on shop or scan the QR code and we'll get you hooked up. Thank you all for coming. We love you. It was a great show. Y'all have a good night.
'Cause when the clock strikes midnight, gonna ride the lightning, feel the thunder, till the darkness pulls me under. I guess mama was